Hi, I'm Savory. I'm your guide today. We're going to take a walk along the Kawa coast and try to appreciate some of this very rugged terrain that's now used for very little besides cattle raising, and stop in at Kawa Beach to see how the county has been taking care of what used to be Abel Louis' property, and see if we can appreciate how it's been handled. I have no idea what's gone on there in the last few months. Only recently I came aware of Abel going to court for some disruption at the park in Hilo, where he was planting some taro and other crops, native Hawaiian crops, by the statue of King Kamehameha, and exercising what he claims to be his right to the use of Hawaiian lands. That's being challenged, of course, by the county and state of Hawaii, who feel like it's totally within their domain to do whatever they want with those lands. So the last thing I heard was that Abel went to court and refused to cross to the defense table because he claimed they had a lack of jurisdiction over him. Now, I'm really curious, considering everything that's been said and done, I'm really curious as to whether the state and county of Hawaii does have jurisdiction over this island, or what parts of this island, and to what extent. There has been some admission on the part of the federal government that the Hawaiian lands were seized in a less than legal way at the overthrow of the monarchy, and that some of that has never been resolved. So it seems that more than just Abel's personal grievances, the case is being raised as to whether or not the current government of Hawaii is in fact within its legal domain to be exercising authority over this land. That's being challenged, and perhaps there needs to be some sort of long-term resolution to this debate. Anyhow, let's go take a look personally and see what we see of how the county is dealing with these lands. Thank you. Now, one thing that's obvious is that if you have enough money, you can build an estate on conservation land right along the Kawa coast and have the whole place to yourself. Somehow these folks got away with that by filing in Honolulu, I guess, instead of locally. People are still scratching their heads as how they managed to bend those rules. But that's what I say, you know, if you got enough money. A gate. Well, my recollection was when Abel lived here, if you had a four-wheel drive vehicle, you could drive down to the beach and play in the water. And he was there to make sure things didn't get too out of hand and people weren't doing too many drugs and stuff like that. Well, let's see what the county has to say about that. Okay. Got some porta potties here. That's a good idea. La 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 la. Yeah, we used to be able to drive in here. It was a little more of a four-wheel drive road then, and find a place to park and use the beach and the ponds. Abel was here to make sure nobody made too much of a mess, dealt too many drugs, and the rest of it. People had a lot of respect for him. Would usually ask his permission if they were in question about anything. But there's nobody here now. Let's see if anybody's using the place. It is possible to walk here from Honolulu along Old Road, Government Road. At least, and then there's a coastal trail as well, some of the way. Nice day for it. A little overcast, always windy. I feel a little bit sketchy about leaving my truck on the highway, but it'll probably be all right. Hopefully it won't get an abandoned vehicle tag on it. So yeah, recently Abel was in the news, was brought into court concerning occupation of a park area in Hilo where the King Kamehameha statue is. Abel felt like it was within his Hawaiian heritage rights to utilize that land and grow some native plants and vegetables for demonstration of how the land might be better used than growing grass. Evidently the DLNR and the county did not agree with his assessment, but then when it came to the court, he claimed that they didn't actually have jurisdiction over the case. Now that's the really curious part to me, is Abel has been raising that question for years now. Does in fact the government here on the Big Island have jurisdiction over many of the Hawaiian lands and or population because of the illegal overthrow of the monarchy and the way in which possession of these islands came to the United States, which, by the way, President Clinton admitted to have been a mistake. I'm really curious as to what kind of legality is, at least on an international level, what kind of international law applies to this situation. The United States has been tromping around the world claiming this and that government to be illegitimate and needing of regime changes. I'm always a little skeptical of that, but when a country asserts those kind of claims towards other countries, you gotta wonder if they are guilty of the same thing themselves. And this situation in Hawaii could easily be a situation with which the United States is guilty of an illegal occupation. Well, this is the site of Abel's house, now removed. So people had to pass by here and give their assent to his domain on their way to the beach. Let's see what this sign says. Let's see. It's a reiteration of what was on the entryway. This Kawa Beach is a very well-known surf spot for at least the locals. It's, from what I understand, it has breaks from both sides, both directions. So you have to be fairly skillful in order to surf here. About as far in the water as I've ever gone is up to my ankles, whereupon the boulders and stuff in the surf pounding me was enough to dissuade me. Beautiful little footpath. Here, it's a little more apparent that we're on an old road bed. These rocks have been piled up here along the edges. I don't think this is a recent development. This could be part of that same government road that passed through along the coast to Punaluu. That's a more pleasant sign to look at. Alright, coming up on the beach here, got some campers or some